New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
New Thought Media Network presents A Grand Vision, a 30-minute exploration of the emergent vision of New Thought Media Network. Get ready to explore the Grand Vision.
And hello again, dear ones. Dr. Robert with you here on a Monday afternoon. It's 4 o'clock on the Mountain Time Zone, and that means it is time for a Grand Vision, the opportunity that I like to take every week to check in, say hi, and let you know a little bit of what's emerging as the vision for this mighty ministry that we're building here together. Now, I also do this on Mondays because, as many of you know, on Monday mornings, we have our Monday morning visioning, which is the chance we take to share in the visioning practice. And in that program, one of the things that I have done is I've added a question: what is the highest vision for New Thought Media Network? And, you know, we've been doing these visionings for a couple of years now, and so quite a bit has emerged. And in the visioning process, one of the things I like to talk about is that we look for the things that never go away. We look for the things that continually reveal themselves and show themselves to us through the visioning process, so we have a better perspective, a better idea of where we're going from the vision itself. And so every week, every Monday, part of the visioning process, I ask the question, what is the highest vision for New Thought Media Network? And I like to read those back and share those with you as well on Monday afternoon on this program. And I do ask our other participants, those that are there, if they're so inclined, to share with us what comes forward for them in that. Not everybody does, but most people do. And I capture those, put those in the visioning book as well, so that per input, those revelations are with us as well. And then we use this vision in decision-making processes. So today, what came forward for me is a sacred community, a spiritual society, called, committed, and excited to grow the ministry, to grow who and what we are and what we are becoming. A mighty society committed to serve humanity's evolution. Pretty cool. Now, for some of our other participants, Fiona shared co-creating an interspiritual and interconnected community, living our purpose. Linda Plaster shared, saw a beautiful, diverse English garden with lush grasses and groups of blossoms all around, vibrant and varied in colors and type. It all pulls together beautifully. And a newcomer to the visioning group with us on Monday mornings shared just the word community. That came from Shelley. So thank you, Shelley, for sharing that. Just the word community. So right there, 3 out of 4, we have the word community showing up. And, you know, that shows up quite a bit over time. So I decided to go do a little searching around the internet and look up what the difference is between society and community. So one of the things I came up with is society is a group of people living in a certain geographic area who interact with each other and share a common culture. On the other hand, the community is a name of a settlement, village, tribe, or nation, where people live together on a particular territory and have feelings of mutuality for each other. Sound very similar, yes? Another one is society is defined as a group of people sharing the same culture, interests, opinions, etc. On the other hand, a community is defined as a group of as the group of living in a social structure. So, of course, there's a few little, differences and deviations in these definitions. what's coming forward for me is that society is the greater piece, and society is created from a group of communities. And what I look at is for many years now, there has been this vision of an intentional community emerging as the future of New Thought Media Network, a space, if you will, a geographic location where we are working together, living together, building a future together around the mission and the vision of New Thought Media Network. And my feeling is that that would, if as we build a community, that would align with other communities. Many of you have heard me talk about Camp Cedar Ridge up in Oregon. They're building a community up there. It just happens to be built around a youth camp, and around the camp that's there, I envision that we are building a community based around New Thought Media Network. And together, those two communities, if you will, are forming the basis of a society. We could say the same for various centers for spiritual living around the world, various unity communities around the world, all the different New Thought communities, whether in the physical world or in the virtual world. What we are collectively building is a new society. Big visions. And yet that's who I am. I'm a big visionary. I catch these big visions and then go out in the world and look for ways to fulfill that. And sometimes those ways find us. Speaking of which, I want to share a little something with you here today. This is something that came to me through a friend, someone that I know that lives here in Colorado. She works in the real estate industry and works specifically looking for unique ideas for community and society, and for communities to grow and flourish. And one of the things she shared recently is this. Check this out. Rampart Canyon Ranch. Now, I don't want the price tag up there to scare you. $4.75 million. Which, once you recognize, we're talking about 274 acres of land and infrastructure built on the southern end of the Front Range, within an hour of a major, within an hour of Denver International Airport, within a half hour of downtown Denver. And what this represents, check that out. You look at that picture there in the background. That's Roxborough State Park. That's a row of red rocks, much like Garden of the Gods, much like Red Rocks Amphitheater. Now, all of this, and I want to move beyond the concept of the money involved, because money is nothing more than an energetic belief system. And what I believe is, I believe that as New Thought Media Network makes itself known, there are more than enough resources in this world, more than enough resources in the New Thought community, that a committed group of individuals could absolutely come together to make an outright purchase of this. Not to create a business and seek investors, not to be beholden to investors that want to see their monthly payout, but to create something new in the world, to create something unique. There it is, getting places: Centennial Airport, 30 minutes, Denver International, 50, Metro Denver, 30 minutes, Colorado Springs, 60 minutes, 15 minutes to the nearest major town, Castle Rock. Rampart Canyon Ranch. Now, this is not the only place I have found, and it's not the only place that is out there, because what we know is there are countless opportunities to share unique ideas, unique ways to consider how it is that we can be together. Here's another one I want to share. This one's pretty cool too. This is Canyonside Campground. I left this on in the wrong place, so I'm going to move that over here real quick. There we go. Make it a little bit easier for me to show you some of what's going on. I've looked at this place a few times. This is a really cool property. It's already got a wedding venue and already has several campgrounds, RVs, tent sites, and mini cabins or tiny houses, if you will, all of which are ready to be remodeled, reorganized, and would house a group of us in a great way. See, if we're all living together, if we're all working together, we don't all need big, huge houses. We just need a place to be together. And that's what I believe where we're heading. New Thought Media Network is more than just sitting behind our computers. It is a vision of how we can be together in community that helps to build a greater society around the global vision, around the New Thought movement, a destination for New Thoughters all over the planet to come visit and come be a part of something. I often think of the Centers for Spiritual Living have what they call the Global Heart Vision. It started as the Global Heart Vision. Now it's been changed and shifted to the Global Vision. And what I always remember, and the pieces that are important here, is we envision a world where there is more than enough resources for everyone. And what I believe is that means there's more than enough money for everyone. There's more than enough food for everyone. There's more than enough shelter for everyone on this planet. This is a planet where borders are truly irrelevant. Now, I also hold a vision of a world where war is absolutely unnecessary. And that is also part of what I believe we're doing. We are building, we're supporting, we're contributing to a consciousness that says we need not be at war. We need not even entertain that war is necessary, because it's not. It's not necessary. We can move to a place, and we do that first in consciousness, and then we do that with each other, where our differences can be worked out through processes, where we can come together to raise our own food, where we can create a product that people want to experience, New Thought Media Network, and do that collaboratively in a way where everyone benefits. Because what I know is, if I won the lottery tomorrow, if any of us won, one of these big billion-dollar lotteries tomorrow, well, we could do a lot of good with $1 billion. But if we're not changing the hearts and the minds, if we're not changing the consciousness of those around us and those that we're serving, then that money just burns up and nothing happens with it. See, folks, I often fall back on a concept shared by Margaret Mead, that there is nothing more powerful than a committed group of individuals to change the world. We are those committed individuals. And I believe we do that by coalescing our efforts. I believe we do that by sharing that we come to a shared vision. And I believe there's more than enough of us on the planet right now to make that so, to make that happen. I want to do something here. There it is. Long ago, I'm going to shift track here for just a second, because I want you to understand something. When I talk about a vision being made manifest, I'm not talking about a dream or a hope. I'm talking about an affirmation. See, none of these things can ever happen if we don't believe they are possible, if we don't do the work that is going to be necessary to bring the conditions, to bring the right opportunities together. And I recently had an opportunity, a demonstration of that. And the cool part is you're going to get to witness that demonstration tomorrow afternoon. let's call it a year and a half ago, maybe even 2 years ago, a term was floated into my consciousness, and I was described as having a prophetic voice for New Thought. And I thought, wow, that sounds kind of cool. That strokes my ego a little bit, but I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Where did that come from? How did we come to hear that idea? And so I started doing some looking around, and I started looking around to different places to try to find a definition, or perhaps even create a definition of what is prophetic New Thought. And at that time, I found an article. It was actually a part of someone's doctoral thesis that outlined a perspective of prophetic New Thought. And that is, and in its simplest terms, it's a very long article. I'm not going to try to read it all or share it all with you here. But at its very center was the idea that New Thought is moving away from just a self-help movement, just a process of you becoming good, you doing your thing. It is moving into a movement that actually is prophetic towards social justice. Now, this article was written 20 years ago. It was written by a woman named Rev Dr Liza Ranko. And I thought, well, how cool would it be to interview Dr. Ranko? I didn't know her. I didn't know any connection to her. But through a few emails and this and that and the other thing, when you know it, we were able to get connected. And at first, when I approached her about being on our program, New Thought Today, she was a little hesitant. As she said, she's not really been involved with the New Thought movement in over 20 years. About the time that she wrote that thesis statement and gained her doctorate, things started to move her in a different way. And, that kind of happens when you get a doctorate. You hear another call. You hear a new calling. Going to give a quick shout out to a couple of friends here. Reverend Mary Jean DeRusha down in Mexico. Good to see you, dear one. Glad you're with us. And Susan Robertson Hod. We haven't met yet, but I see you've been showing up here at the New Thought Media Network on some of our broadcasts, so I want to welcome you too. And so back to my story. So it was sort of a dream. It was sort of an idea to see if we could get Dr. Liza to come on the show and share with us her perspective. Now, for those that know, New Thought Today is really about casting a vision for where New Thought's happening in the world. And she was reluctant because she didn't feel that she was very New Thought-ish anymore. Well, we stayed in communication, and over time and over connections, turns out another friend of ours shared with her that we were connected, and that's looking at the work we're doing. And so when you know it, we were able to sit down, and this happened just yesterday afternoon. Reverend Elzia and I sat down and pre-recorded a very special interview with Dr. Liza Ranko. It'll air tomorrow, Tuesday, at 2 p.m. Mountain Time, at our normal time for that program. Due to her schedule, we weren't able to do the program live, so we did a pre-recording. And we had such an amazing conversation. We had this amazing conversation about how we have to not only have hope, but have a vision for humanity's future, for our own organizational future. And again, this is a big part of what I'm talking about here. I envision that as an organization, as a community, we can help create a New Thought society through a piece of property, through a location such as this. 274 acres of highly subdividable mountain land bordering Pike National Forest and open space territory, which means nobody's going to build next to us. And all we need is 4.7 million. Or not even that. We just need enough of a commitment to get moving. And what I believe and what I trust about this philosophy, what I've learned about this philosophy in the last 20 years is the only things that are impossible are those things that we say are the only things that we don't believe in. But when we believe it, we can conceive it. That's what's happening in Oregon right now. That's what's happening in other places around the planet right now. And I know there are more and more people lining up, being called in one way or another to be a part of something different. Not just making money to make money's sake. Because at the end of the day, that money doesn't do any good unless we're doing good with it. So when people ask me what the money is for, I share that it's for something like this. It's for a mighty, mighty vision where we can bring our collective energies together. And for those that want to come live in Colorado, well, we got plenty of room to build a community, to build society on 274 acres, especially when we're sharing resources. A place like this comes with a great big kitchen, big enough, and room to build an industrial size kitchen. Some of the properties that I look at already have that industrial size kitchen. And in community, we share. We share. Each person has that space to do their thing, but together we're doing a big thing, a mighty big thing. Now, I know that there are people within this movement that could right now pick up the phone and call me and say, Robert, I'm in. I got you. I got your back. We got the funding. Let's get it going. Let's put this together. I know there are people out there. Unfortunately, I don't know who they are. If I knew who they were, I'd be calling them. But I don't know who those people are yet, but you might. You might just know that right person that's already on board with this vision we're talking about. See, we're building a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment. And right now, that's happening in kitchens. That's happening in home offices. That's happening in people's bedrooms. That's happening in people's basements as all the folks that are a part of this network are coming together to create something different, to create a new perspective, a new way of being together, a new way of being involved. And we have people all across this planet, all across the United States that are doing the work because they see a vision. And I'm here to call us to a bigger vision. Not just a vision where each of us makes enough money to be content. I'm calling us to a vision where as a community, we can have a piece of property. And for those that are familiar with Michael Singer, he wrote a couple of, more than a few great books, but the one that I always love the most is The Surrender Experiment. And in that book, he describes how he and his community, how truly he started with 5 acres and eventually set a policy that if land becomes available that is adjacent to my 5 acres, I'll buy it. He didn't know how, but that is exactly what has happened. And over years, his property, his community in Arkansas has grown to over several thousand acres, I believe it is at this point. It's huge. We can do the same. And what if we start with 274? What if we start with an existing property where the way showers, if you will, the founding visionaries can come together to work and build and hold a vision and use our spiritual practices to expand and grow and build. Imagine a village of tiny homes All these people working in concert, working together to share the New Thought message through a global broadcast network. Imagine the good we can do. Imagine the people we could serve. Imagine the other organizations that could benefit. And just like Michael Singer and his folks, something becomes available, we set the intention that we'll buy it. If someone approaches us with a grand idea, we set the intention that it can happen. When I look at what we've created here on New Thought Media Network in the past just over 3 years, right? This was all a vision in January of 2020. And we are rapidly approaching January of 2024. So 3 full years of work. We're almost to the point of 3 full years of work, and the number of different programs that we have, the number of different events that we have. Look at all these various programs. That calendar keeps filling up, and I keep taking stuff off of there as things don't fit or something happens or somebody's project needs to get pushed a little bit. But as we continue to grow, we continue to add to that calendar. And I invite you to hold with me a vision of a 24-hour broadcast network. You've heard me talk about the Roku station. We're working on the Roku station. You've heard me talk about our virtual community platform. We're working on the virtual community platform. And now you're hearing me talk about the desire for us to have a home. The desire for us to have a shared physical space where everyone can not only live out their dreams, everyone that's aligned, everyone who wants to be a part of it, for new thoughters from around the world to come together and live out their dreams and live out and demonstrate the power of this philosophy. You know, I'm in the past few months, I've really fallen back on the concept of a faith, a philosophy, a faith, and a way of life. It's a phrase that was used to describe New Thought years back. A philosophy, a faith, and a way of life. What better way to demonstrate our way of life than on a massive piece of property where we can build our dream? Where the local government is open to the fact that this is subdividable property and can easily create a space where everyone that is aligned with this vision can come together, and there's room enough for all. I could go on, and I will, just not today. I will continue to hold this vision, and if not this property, another property, because properties come and go, folks. It's not about the specific location. It's about identifying the people that are ready to make the change. It's about bringing together the hearts and the minds and the vision of those that are ready to be a part of something perhaps many of us have never imagined before. I notice our dear friend Jim Leffner has given us a thumbs up. Good to see you here, Jim. Thanks for being a part of what we're doing here. And if you're wondering what we're talking about, Jim, here it is. Rampart Canyon Ranch, 274 acres for $4.75 million. I'm going to tell you, I watch these things and I look around a lot, and that's an amazing price for a piece of property that size and in its location, an hour from a major from one of the largest international airports in America, less than an hour away, half hour away from a major downtown, from a major city, and yet nestled in the mountains of Colorado. What an amazing place to build a vision. We're doing it online, folks. Right now, we're doing it online. Every day I have new conversations with new people that are going to help us build all of this. Our community platform, our Roku station, that's going to help us to build new and exciting ways of sharing the New Thought message. Because what we know is, for those that follow the New Thought message, there is nothing that is impossible. But 20 years ago, I was a broke ski instructor. I was a broke ski bum, chasing bands around the country with no vision and no direction for my life. And just 2 weeks ago, I walked across the stage and received a doctorate of divinity. And that's 20 years of hard work. The vision manifested. And I reached out to my original teacher, to my very first teacher in this movement. And we chatted for, he didn't have much time. We chatted for a few moments. And he shared with me how proud he was. And I shared my appreciation for him getting me started on this. And I actually said, I don't know that it would have happened without you, without him. And his response to me was classic New Thought. He said, oh yeah, it would have. Oh yeah, it would have. The divine would find its way if you're willing. And I've been willing. And over the last 20 years, through the ups and the downs, through the trials and the tribulations, through the suffering and the elation of a success, through that 20 years, I've demonstrated a master's degree in consciousness studies and now a doctorate of divinity. And that's not, I don't share that to impress you. I share that to impress upon you that any of us can accomplish what we set out to accomplish by utilizing, by remaining true to this mighty philosophy, this faith, this way of life. And that can be true for you too. So I recognize I've gone over time, but that's okay, because there is no time or space in the mind of the divine. There's a mighty vision emerging, folks, and I invite you to be a part of it. I would love for you to be a part of it. Imagine what we could accomplish. Imagine how many lives we could inspire. And all for, we could probably get it for 4.5. Heck, we might even get it for 4.25. Who knows? Doesn't matter how many zeros are in the number. It doesn't matter the number. What I know is when we keep our eyes open, when we stay true to the vision, then the way to fulfill the vision manifests itself. The avenue, the resources, the people, everything necessary for the complete fulfillment of this mighty vision is coming into our lives, into this ministry, exactly as necessary. And I believe now, more than ever, is the time for us to create an intentional community, to find a piece of property where we can build an intentional community that uplifts all of humanity, that is part of a growing society called New Thought. And that together, whether we're in Oregon or Colorado or Geneva or North Carolina or Vermont or wherever we might be, South America, Mexico, Jalisco, where all these communities can come together through the power of the virtual connection and create a society that serves humanity's evolution. I'm Dr. Robert Brzezinski. I got to get out of here or I'm just going to keep on going and going and going. And I know that I've got work to do. You've got work to do. And before I go, I implore you one more time, please add to your prayers, add to your vision, a physical home for New Thought Media Network. And the right people stepping forward to help us finance it, the right people stepping forward to help us put together the finances to make something like this or even greater come to fruition. I love you. I appreciate you. Susan says, thank you. I'm on board. And that is changing. Empty pockets are changing this. I already envision your pockets being full, Susan. I envision our pockets being full. I envision those right people stepping forward and saying, yes, Robert, let's make it happen. and I can write the check to get us going. All right. I'm going to get out of here. I love you. You are amazing. I look forward to being with you again and again and again. Please do remember, tune in tomorrow. I know that we often, these are always live, but tomorrow, this one's been pre-recorded, so I know what's going to be said, and you don't want to miss it. Our interview with Lisa Rankow is deep. It is powerful, and I think you're going to love it. So tune in tomorrow at 2 p.m. Mountain Time here on the New Thought Media Network. And please be sure to check out all of our programming from prayer time to prayer time and everything in between, and even things before that. We've got something powerful we're doing. And I appreciate you being a part of it. I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you sharing this with your friends and family. I'm out. All right. How many times have I said I got to get out of here? Probably quite a few already now, but this time it's happening. Until next time, I love you. You are amazing. I wish you peace and richest blessings. Bye now.